Hello, everyone. This is JD Calderon, and this is Indie Comics Explained. And yet again, I have another fantastic guest. But please hit like, hit subscribe, share out the video, and hit the notification button so when next time I do one of these, you'll know. And if you like to support the channel, go check out the Oswald Chronicles currently on Indiegogo. You can find that in the show notes. And without further ado, our fantastic guest for the third time, Mr. Michael Oden.
Oh my goodness. I know. Third time's the charm, but like I've been on here 3 times and it's always a good time. So it's like third time's like what are we doing here? We're just talking comics. There's no
no pressure, except when I start asking questions about your comics.
I'll just wing it. It's all good.
So yeah, man. I mean, like I said, we've done these before. So we did all the process stuff. So all that stuff is done. So now we're just on to the book, man. I mean, you're doing Elysian Fields, right? This is your second campaign, right? It's looking awesome. You've already funded. Now we just now you just need more money, and I know exactly how you feel. More money.
Goodness gracious. It's a very frustrating thing because I think there's like all this stuff that's obviously playing into it, but like we were really expecting between the partnerships that we have with the Special Forces Charitable Trust and like the pre-launch stuff and everything like that, we were expecting to breeze past 5K, and we've been stuck at 2 for like a week, and it's making me live it. And it didn't help that Indiegogo's mailing list doesn't work the way that mailing lists should.
Oh, really? How explain that to me? Because I've been wondering about mine too.
So I get a message. So Phil Locklear is my marketing guy for Nine Realms, and he's done a phenomenal job. But like it had been a week after we launched, and Phil's just like, dude, I haven't gotten a single freaking email because Phil obviously signed up for our pre-launch mailing list and what have you. He didn't want to miss out on the Joe Tolliver pinup.
Okay.
And I was just like, really? You haven't gotten like anything about us launching, any of our updates? He was like, no, I haven't gotten shit. And so I went, oh, okay. And so then I reached out to Indiegogo, and they're like, well, they only signed up for the mailing list. They aren't following your campaign. And I was like, what the fuck was the point of them signing up for the mailing list?
Exactly.
Literally every other the whole fucking point. You sign up for the mailing list so that hey, this is when the campaign launches. Hey, now you signed up for all your updates and everything like that. So you don't have to go do that again. I was livid. And so like I found this out 2 weeks after launch. So I sent my freaking launch email out after getting home from work. It was like almost midnight. And I'm just like angrily converting the freaking mailing list email things into a BCC thing so that everyone gets it without anyone seeing the other recipients. And I'm just angrily fucking typing away. It's like 2020 is the worst. I hate everything.
Right.
We're funded, but throw us more money, please. And so yeah, no, that certainly didn't help us. But it was one of those very frustrating things. It was like, I'm so glad that I fought and toiled for like 2 months to get people signed up for this pre-launch thing for it to be ultimately worthless. Thank you, Indiegogo.
Right. Well, like anything, because the pre-launch thing is new, right? It's only within the last 6 months they've been doing that.
I don't know. That sounds about right. Like, it's really hard for me to be able to be like, oh yeah, no, that's totally the case because I literally launched my first campaign within the last 6 months. So
Gotcha. Did you have a pre-launch page for the first one? Because I don't remember that.
no, that was like that was one of my big reasons why I did it for the second was because people were like, yeah, man, hitting 10K isn't too bad. You just gotta you've got to make sure that you market it first. Like you gotta build up hype before you launch. And so I had seen a few other campaigns do pre-launch pages, and I was like, that's fucking genius. Yeah. And like that was like a perfect thing. It was a great way to get people invested and kind of show off a little bit of the product before we actually hit the market. It all seemed like a really good thing. And then it blew up like a stick of dynamite.
Right. Yeah.
With a short fuse. But I mean, we're doing what we can. I do think that there's a big timing thing with everything going on. People are a bit hesitant and are sticking off of social media because people are just tired of one another.
It's been crazy these last few days. Yeah.
Yeah, to say the least.
Mhm.
And yeah, no, it's just one of those things where it's like, man, I thought we'd be doing a lot better. Like we're doing well. We hit 2K before, like I don't even think we had hit 1,500 by this point in the first campaign. So the fact that we're nearing 3,000, like we're at 2,610 right now. So it's not bad. It's just it's not the boom that I was hoping for.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean that's always the worst. And then you're also in the middle, which is the lull period. You know, it's just like the dead zone.
Yeah, you're just like, fuck, man.
Uh,
I was
yeah.
I was really expecting us to hit that 5K there in that first week.
Mhm.
Done a lot of pre-promotion. We did the I'm not sure if you saw it, but we did the reveal of the Support Our Troops 11, and that brought in a lot of people. That video had like almost 400 people watch it.
Wow. Okay.
And like all the response on it was like, wow, this is impressive. I want to back this thing. Like I need the details and everything like that. And so it was a frustration thing, or like Phil and I were just kind of looking at the numbers like, where is everyone?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Where are you?
Yeah.
But you know, as I said, we are doing very well. Just not we're just not having flow that either of us were expecting, which is fine. I'm expecting, we're probably going to end up having to extend another 30 days, but I am expecting that we'll have that last week of the 30, we'll probably have a pretty big bump, and I'm going to go heavy on that because the big thing that I'm going to capitalize is that if you get in on those Support Our Troops perks on within the first 30 days, your pinup will be signed and numbered by Justin Hunt. So yeah, it's a pretty good deal. So like it's just one of those things where I'm like, okay, we just have to, at this point it is what it is. We're in that mid campaign lull. People are like, oh well, they're funded. I'll wait to get on the last minute.
Right.
And so that's just, it is what it is. We're still we've only had one day where we've made $0. We might not make like a lot, but we're getting contributions every day, and that's important, is that we are maintaining our presence well enough. And we have a whole bunch of stuff that we're doing. Like I made an announcement yesterday that the first 50 backers of the Dragon Guard cover, and that includes people who buy the whole enchilada as well, their copies of the book I'm going to send to Kevin Sharp, and Kevin will sign them as well.
Oh, nice.
So, like, I'm coming up with ways to drive up hype and bring more people into it. But again, it's one of those things where timing is everything. And as much as we're fighting to get the word out there, there's only so much you can do.
This is true. How many podcasts have you done up until this point?
Oh God. Week 1, I was literally on, like, it would be every day I was on at least 2 shows. Like day 1, I was on, when we launched, I was on Rob Anderson for his comics news segment, and I'm his co-host for that. So it was just, I was there, and then we did a live event on Indie Vault that night. Mm-hmm. Then I did, the next day, I think I did a podcast. And then that Friday, I was on 3 shows.
Wow.
I was on a morning show, I think. Mm-hmm. And then I was on Luke Aglietta's in the early evening, and then I was on Mandy Summers that night. Mm-hmm. And then that weekend, I did Michael Bancroft's show. And like literally, I was doing so much, and like Joe Tolliver messaged me, was like, "Dude, you are fucking everywhere." Like we're going up to our we were gonna be revealing the full color version of his print this past Tuesday, and it wasn't quite ready yet, so it didn't get the full reveal. But he was just like, "Man, you've just been freaking everywhere promoting this damn thing." I was like, "I know."
Was that your dog?
Oh no, that was me giving a sigh of relief. Actually, not even of relief, of just like exhaustion, because I still have my job, and so like literally it would be like, last night I was on Unscripted, and I was on there till like 2 a.m.
Man.
And then, oh man, I've just been on a lot. I was on Literary Joe's podcast, and I was on this, and I was on that, and it was just all over the place. Like every single time someone's like, "Hey, can you come on a live stream?" I was like, "Yes."
You're like,
"Yes,
sure,
I
right?
can."
You're like, one more time into the breach.
Yeah, like Henry V ain't got shit on me.
Yeah, sometimes it feels that way, right? You're just like, oh man.
Like you've got, it's something that I learned from the first book, is like, if you think that you don't have to do a damn thing to promote in order to get your book funded, you're a fucking idiot. If you want to maximize on everything, you need to fucking put that work in. And there's no other way to put it. And yeah, no, it's just, you cannot sit on your ass and do nothing. You have to go out there. You have to constantly push. Like the first week and a half, I was going on Twitter in the morning, and I would schedule 5 tweets a day. And then like it would be in 2-hour intervals. And so what I'd do is each one of these would post every 2 hours. And then on the hour mark in between each, I would alternate a second post. On the first hour, in between the first 2 posts, I would tag a whole bunch of promoters that I knew in a reply on the first post. And then second post would happen at that second hour. And then at the third hour, I would retweet the first post. And then on the 4th hour, 3rd post, and then I would go and reply on the 2nd post and put down another set of creators and promoters that I know.
Right.
And then 5th hour, retweet 2nd post.
Wow.
And that's literally what I did for an entire week and a half. It was like, it was super methodical. I was at work, my phone. I think I actually killed my phone because of I was in the process of getting a new phone anyway, because mine was just not doing well. But that Friday, on this, like the second Friday that the campaign was open, I finished texting somebody.
Right.
I set down my phone and smoke starts to billow out of the screen. And I look down and you can see a fire going on inside the phone. It's like everything is just collapsing. And I was just like, what the fuck?
That was Hayes telling you, it's working. Yeah, that's rough, man. I've had phones explode on me, and I've had phones die on me, but never burn.
Dude, I was just like, what the hell? What is going on? This isn't okay. This isn't even remotely okay. But yeah, no, it was an entertaining thing. The guy that I was working on post was like, "Yo, what the fuck is going on with your phone?" It's like, I don't know. It's burning from the inside. Oh man,
the hellfires are coming out.
Yeah, no kidding. But yeah, no, it's been an experience. This second campaign, I'm learning a lot of and that's the thing is all you can do is just be like, okay, treat everything as a learning experience. Treat everything as a learning experience. Right. Treat everything as a learning experience, and not go, Ethan Van Sciver just launched another freaking campaign. Why?
Right. It's like, suck
why
all the money
now?
out of the room. Why?
And it's and I realize that it's not something that I can really shake my fist at too hard, because out of the hundreds of thousands of people who have probably backed Ethan Van Sciver's stuff, maybe 200. I have probably maybe 200 of them that have purchased Elysian Fields at some point in time. So it doesn't affect me super. Those are people that could have been looking at my campaign and been about to click that freaking button and went, "Oh, Ethan has a new book. Gotta have that." And went and bought his instead. It was like trying not to see.
The only thing I'll give him to his credit is the book is not very expensive.
No, it's not. I do not harbor any resentment towards it. I completely understand why he did it. People have been asking for a collection for a while. It made sense. It made perfect sense. It just ate a giant dick that it launched 2 days after I launched Elysian Fields Pyramid Gambit, and within 3 hours he was at almost $300,000, and I wanted to kill someone. It was just oh, I get it. You are a big name in the industry. You are your own brand at this point. I shouldn't be mad at this, but I'm mad.
Yeah, I trust me. I know. It's like watching Berserk and Keanu Reeves. 1.4 million. Really? 1.4. It's just
Well, and that's those things where I was on Unscripted last night, and they brought up some very good points that I hadn't thought about how a company like Boom and utilizing Keanu Reeves is actually very good for us as indie creators. Term. But for me, I think that I would have been a lot more receptive towards it if it was Keanu working with another genuinely indie creator.
Right.
and doing it that way, because there is a certain advantage that you have when you are not working with just there's a certain thing to be said where you're not just working with individuals, you're working with a corporation with its entire brand, marketing branch. Like Boom has literally offices of people whose sole job is to market Boom Studios, right? They have people on payroll for this, and that is not something that you or I have. We have to do that shit on our own. And that's not Boom. Like, you have to be able to do that when you're in that industry. It's just one of those things where you see them coming into crowdfunding, you're like, really? I get it. The cash cow's here. You're making the right business decision. But really, it's already difficult enough to compete with these people that have been doing it for like 5-6 years. Like, I already have to like sell really hard on my book because I'm new, but like now I have to fucking compete with Boom, and furthermore Keanu fucking Reeves. God damn it.
No, I feel you, man. Trust me, I'm there. Like, I get it. You know, I'm waiting for Frank Miller and Alan Moore to drop in, and they'll be like, shit, there it goes.
Do not put that fucking evil out there. Don't do it. And especially not Alan Moore, because if either of those people were to do a crowdfunded comic, it would be Alan Moore, and he'd fucking kill us. It would literally just be like, okay, I can't. Keanu Reeves, Alan Moore, Scott Snyder, and fucking Sean Gordon Murphy all in one goddamn year doing crowdfunding. And who knows? It's going to be Alan Moore doing a crowdfunding thing for DC Black Label on fucking Indiegogo, and I'm going to shoot myself. I'm going to be like...
Yeah, the only thing that would be worse would be Neil Gaiman. He'd be the only one that'd be even worse than Alan, because then
it's like Neil Gaiman comes back to Sandman to write more Sandman for DC Vertigo, for DC. The new Vertigo initiative is all crowdfunding, and this is the first fucking wave, and you're just like,
exactly, yeah, that would be like
as a fan, you're like, oh, that's awesome, I want to throw money at that. And as an indie comic guy, you're like, stop.
Yep.
This was difficult enough.
What is it? I don't know if you got. I don't know if you were informed. If they send you the memo that says, you know, this job is dangerous.
Yeah.
You know, says you accepted it. Okay, well, you knew it was dangerous, so you know.
Yeah, I know, but it's just one of those things. Like, just wait till I get 5 books out. For the love of fucking God, wait till I have like 5 books. So I have established myself, and people are like, oh, I know Michael Oden. He does all right. And so that way, I guarantee that I have a returning customer base. That's all I ask. Yeah, give me like a year. Just a year. That's all I want.
Yeah, but well, you know, they're gonna do what they're gonna do. So
yeah, I know. There's nothing I can do about that. But yeah, I'm definitely, if Alan Moore comes out with a crowdfunding here in the next like week or two, I'm hitting you up. I'm like, fuck you, JD.
You know what? I'll take it. I'll be like, I'll just have to own that one. I'll be like, all right, well, you know, it was my fault.
I'm gonna be like, you put this out into the world, and now it's here.
You know, it's arrived. It's a good thing I didn't say nothing about Godzilla.
Stop it. You're putting more shit out there, and it's not okay. What is it? It's the moment that you breathe an idea life, it starts to build, and somewhere it exists. Yeah, right. You're doing that right now. Some asshole is watching your stream, and it's like, get Alan Moore on the phone. Get Alan Moore on the phone. We're gonna get him to do a sequel to his Swamp Thing series, and we're gonna crowdfund it. We're going to crowdfund it, and we'll give him complete creative control. He can have Swamp Thing rape a bunch of people. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't
Just
matter.
get him on the phone.
Mm-hmm. So we'll give him back Watchmen. Don't worry about it. He'll be fine.
Oh God.
Yeah. Well, listen. I think that guy's busy, so I don't think we have to worry about it. Also, he's retired. Last I heard.
Okay, so here's my thing with retirement. You know how many times Stan Lee retired?
Standing never.
like most of these guys at one point or not. Fucking Frank Miller retired like 6 times.
Oh yeah.
All it takes, honestly, all it takes is the right this
Mm-hmm.
and the right pitch. That's all it takes. I do think that it would be a bit harder to get Alan, because Alan Moore is very bitter towards the comic industry. And so in that regard, it might be one of those things where it's just like easier said than done. But you throw enough money at the dude and you give him complete creative control over something, and you put down the crowdfunding bit, and that's all it necessarily would take.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I don't know. I would hope in his case, and it's even with someone like Frank Miller. I think with someone like Miller, like he's wealthy, and he can do whatever he wants whenever he wants. And I mean, I would think he would do it. The only reason I would see either guy do it is just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
So, but let's just hope they don't get curious anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't. I'm really hoping that is the case, where it's just like they don't even think about it, or it's like no, we do this the old school way. I was like, okay, you keep that. You go on ahead. Good job,
Exactly.
Good job.
Exactly. Listen, I mean, all we need is for Image, because I think they've had a couple of really big successes recently in the direct market.
Dude, I'm telling you right now that is actively where Image is looking to go. And it's not anything on insider knowledge. It's literally looking at Todd McFarlane's interview that he did right before the Spawn Kickstarter. I guarantee you that what we are going to see from Image over the next few years is they're going to reduce the amount of books that they are printing. Right. What we're going to see is we will get crowd-funded giant comic books, and I think that they're going to model them after the manga model, where you'd get like an almost omnibus sized thing with 6 different new series.
Right.
And they do that, crowd fund each of them, and then you would they could do, because it's Image and they have the revenue to do it, you could do this collection that collects these, it's effectively you get an issue 1 as a preview for all these stories, and you could do like 5 or 6 of them, right? And so be like, this is what would be in this is what would be in that, and then you take a look at which ones are making the most money, which ones are getting the best feedback and what have you, like that. And then it'd be like, okay, well, all the books in this one get full order. This one gets canceled, or be like, okay, well, these books in this thing that didn't sell as well, they all got negative feedback except for one of them. Let's move that story into another preview book. We'll release an issue 2 of that one to test it, and if it still does shit and it's not selling with these other ones that are more profitable, then we'll axe it as well. And that's, I guarantee you, one of the models that Image is looking at. Because Todd McFarlane's a smart fucking dude, and when you launch a Kickstarter and you make over $3 million for a fucking action figure that costs you probably $20 per unit to manufacture, you're doing pretty fucking good. And you bring that into the Image line, and you take that whole idea of really just pushing new IPs, the best way to do it is that way. And they were already fairly close to that model with how they were handling their volume 1 trade papers. All their volume 1 trade papers
$10
are $9.99. It is like their standard at Image, which I think is genius. I don't know why nobody else is doing that. Like, that's like, oh, I'm just like, Marvel, DC, how do you not see this and go, yeah, that's the right fucking idea? Because you've already paid these dudes their money.
Yep.
Like, you've already paid them, and they're already bringing back that money through their single issues. If you want to get a brand new fan a starting point, make all your fucking volume 1 trade papers $9.99 across the board. Because you want to know what? If I'm a brand new fan and I go in and I'm like, oh man, I really like this trade paper and I really like this superhero and I'd love to get to start. You want to know what I'd be more than willing to fucking pay? $10.
Yep. It's funny. I was just having a conversation with my wife, Daphne. Tall Tales, #1. Well, our first trade paperback. We did a digest sized book. It was 120 pages. And we were selling, it was $14.95 on the cover, but it shows we were selling at $10. We must have hand sold 1,500 of those things over the course of like a year.
I don't doubt it.
Because at $10, people are like, oh yeah, $10.
That's pocket change. Everyone's just like, oh dude, fucking $10? That's less than a movie ticket.
Yep.
Give me.
Yep.
It's a very good model. I genuinely believe that. Like, Elysian Fields, I don't have it at those price points because it's a bit different for me.
Yeah.
Because I am unfortunately not at a point where I'm moving 1,500 units.
Well, it took us a minute to do that. It's not like we did.
Yeah, no, 100. But like you guys have an established fan base, and this is actually one of those things where I was actually talking about this on Unscripted, where I'm very excited that cons are coming back. So I to go to my first conventions and bring books and get a name out there for myself, because that's honestly, I think, what I am missing is I got started during this pandemic. I did push very hard, but you need the conventions as well because it allows you to get FaceTime with fans, right? And it means a lot more to somebody when you go and purchase a book from them direct and get a chance to talk with them about the book one-on-one, than just listening to me talk about it on a live stream, and just backing my campaign. And so that's one of those things where I'm looking forward to getting a chance to go to conventions in 2021. I'm actively looking at what those price points are to get like a table and what have you, so I know what I need to be saving for, and then get an idea of like, okay, I need to, like, I was like, that's a good like base standard of like product to bring, what have you. And so I'm getting all those numbers figured out so that I can put that money away and get that done so that I can go one convention in 2020.
Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, I'm in New York, so I'm not seeing any conventions for a minute. So
yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay. What's funny is I haven't really done any shows in the last 2 years. I've been focusing only on Indiegogo and Kickstarter. I mean, we've done 1 or 2 a year. We were about to start opening up again and like doing maybe 5 or 6 smaller ones in the area, but this happened.
Yeah, no, and that's fair. Well, like the other big thing there, JD, is again, you guys already established your base. Like as into conventions is, you could literally at this point, between your YouTube channel, your crowdfunding, and going to even just one convention a year, you will be able to continue to do what you're doing and not only fund your books but create profit and generate genuine revenue. So like that's like a big thing, is that right now I only have crowdfunding, and I go on a lot of, so I'm out there. Like people know who I am at this point. And those are the two things that I have. But I think that what you need a balance of all three in order to genuinely build a base.
Yep.
And right now I don't have that. I don't have. It was something that I did get to build a little bit when I was doing the distribution of the Zero issue, because for all the people that lived locally, I hand delivered. Right.
Nice.
So that was a nice thing. But again, a good chunk of those people were people I knew. And then the people I didn't knew, there were onesies and twosies. And so I've secured them as fans. And in fact, all the guys that I hand delivered to that backed the first book that I didn't know have already backed Pyramid Gambit.
Right.
Which is really great. But like, you know, all of those, like it all goes down to securing your audience. And as great as this is, the best way to do it is being at a convention, seeing these people who are the fans, like genuinely 100%. Pick up your book, be interested in it, talk to you about it for a little bit, and then buy it. And then to be like, yo, what else do you have? I need fucking more. And like that, it's so important. It really is. And yeah, no, it's a very, very big thing to be doing. You need all of that. And then once you get to that point where you have that consumer base established and what have you, that's when you can really start to play around with things like your price points. It's like, yeah, you know, I could probably get away with selling this for X, but I would much rather sell it for a much lesser Y and drive that quantity number up so that it makes it, like, at the end of the day, you know, costs of production are, even for trade papers, a good deal less than what we charge for them, because we're trying to make sure that we're generating profits, not just reimbursing ourselves, but getting money back, getting that return. So like, if we're like, okay, well, this only cost us, like, let's say $5 to print each per unit. We're charging like you know, I'm charging, just to throw the freaking number out there. I'm not actually going off of any concrete math. I'm like, okay, I'm charging 20 for this, so that way I have a genuine return. It's got a lot of pages, it's got a lot of story, it's got a lot to offer. So I feel like I'm justified in pricing that at that point. But like, I don't really have the fan base, so I need it to be 20 in order for me to reimburse that 5 on each book that I print, because I'm only going to be printing so little amount. But when I get to a point where I'm having like 1,000 people back my book, well, that's a different story.
Right.
Because then I'm like, well, I have 1,000 people. That $5, I can reimburse that $5 real quick if those 1,000 people see that, oh man, it's only fucking $10.
Right.
Oh boy, I'm gonna buy like 6 of them. Like, I'm gonna get all the variants. I'm going to get double copies, because I want one that I can put up on my wall, and one I can flip through, and one that I can give to my best friend, and this, that, the other. And so like, that's the whole thing, is because that $10 price point is that thing where it's like, that's pocket change. I can totally do that. And that shit builds up quick.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, there's so many different things I've been thinking about, because right now, we're doing Indemand, on demand printing, which is all digital. It's a little bit more pricey than, let's say, offset printing. But the only difference is that offset printing, you got to print large volume numbers. Whereas, on digital, I can order 10 copies or 5 copies or whatever, and I can get those, and that's not a problem. But on the other end, if I do the other end, is like, I got to print 1,000 copies at minimum. But I'm wondering, I'm looking at the fact, I was like, damn, if I print newsprint as opposed to regular paper or whatever, what kind of to bring down the price point. But we'll see. That's all speculation.
Yeah.
Right, Odin, we've been doing this for a little bit. All right, so let's move on to some of those goofy questions I like to ask.
I mean, this is honestly like we a little bit before the show. I was like, I wonder what we're gonna fucking talk about, because I've been on like 3 times and I don't really have anything we don't have anything plot related really to talk about the book, because we're all caught up.
Yeah, this is true. Well, we're talking business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the one thing we probably never did talk about, is like the actual business of comics, which is important to everybody, because I learned a few things. Everybody learns something. That's always important. So now, before we move on, let everybody know where they can find Michael and all your work.
You can find me on Twitter at @ElysianFields_0. You can find me on Facebook at 9 Realms Publishing. Indiegogo is live right now. We are at 26. Help us hit 5K. As I said earlier, first 50 people to get that Dragon Guard cover, you're getting your book signed by not just me, you're getting it signed by Kevin Sharp, the guy that did that cover. And on top of that, as I again also said, backing those Support Our Troops tiers in the first 30 days gets your pinup by Justin Hunt signed and numbered by the man himself as well. So get on it. Help us hit 5K. We have a whole bunch of other really cool announcements coming here soon. Stay tuned with us. Thank you so much for the support. You guys are fucking awesome. Thank you.
Yep. So there you go. Go out and buy Elysian Fields. Awesome book. And is my other standard question is anything you wanted to talk about, touch upon, or a question I didn't ask that you wanted to
I mean, the big thing that I'm trying to do on every stream is talk up that Support Our Troops thing. And let people know what's going on with that. So we did the Support Our Troops thing initially in the Zero issue towards the tail end of it.
Right.
But I didn't have an organization picked out just yet. And so when we completed that campaign, I went and I talked to my father, who served 30 years in Army Special Forces.
Right.
And he's also the head of his SF chapter. And as a result, he has connections with things like that. So I reached out to him and I said, hey, are there any organizations that you guys work with that you would recommend? And without without missing a beat, he was like, Special Forces Charitable Trust. And so he starts talking to me about it, and it was resonated with me, because I served. I did 6 years Army National Guard as an infantryman. But the Support Our Troops angle is there was something that the Special Forces Charitable Trust brought to the table that really spoke to me, and that's that they're not just doing stuff for veterans; they're doing stuff for the families. Right. We talk about Support Our Troops. It's an important thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking away from it. But we don't talk enough about the families. These husbands, these wives, these sons and daughters that willingly allow their loved one to make a decision every day to walk out the door knowing that there's a good chance they're not walking back through it. And that's a sacrifice in and of its own. So the Special Forces Charitable Trust raises money for like widow and widower funds. They raise money for scholarships for the kids. Right. And this is all as it implied by the name, it's the Special Forces, which is a whole other smaller community. Like, these guys are the people in the front lines and deep into enemy territory. So it's like, to be able to help out those veterans that are really, really there, but also support their families. It really meant a lot to me, and so we partnered with them, and so there are 2 main tiers that are associated with that, and on every tier that there's money being donated to the Special Forces Charitable Trust, the image is their logo, so it's very easy to figure it out.
Right.
But the main tier that we have is we have our support our troops package, and so $10 of that gets donated to them. And what you get in that package is you get a special edition of the book with a cover, a variant done by Ted Lehman and Farah Nurmaliza. It's fucking gorgeous. Farah has not gotten a chance to do the coloring on it yet. She's booked till November, and so she's going to start then. But Ted's line work on it's outstanding. And then you get a unit patch and a challenge coin, and you get a pinup done by Justin Hunt. And so Justin finished the line work on it, and Justin is in contact with Alonso Espinoza, who is the colorist of that Dragon Guard cover that we have. And so Alonso is going to be coloring it, and it's going to be fucking gorgeous. And as I said, you get in on these support our troop tiers in those first 30 days. On any one of the tiers that we have with that logo, you get a support our troops package. And so at minimum $10 goes to that. We do also have Justin Hunt's original art of that pinup is up for sale. That entire price point is being donated to them. And so with that, you get Justin's original print, and you get Justin's original art, and you get the support our troops package.
Wow, that's really that's awesome. That's awesome. So again, go get Elysian Fields. Awesome book. All right, man.
Thanks.
So on to more lighter themes. I got serious here for a second. So I've asked you this question before. So let's how else to turn this question in,
Which question is it?
Oh, it's one of my two standards. Who would you get to do a guest cover for you? Right?
Okay, so what we're going to do is I am going to twist this.
Okay, go ahead.
You and I have talked, and you know that I have more than just Elysian Field brewing in the pot.
Right.
And so what I will do is I will pick someone that I would love to do a guest cover for one of my projects that I have.
Cool.
I can't name them on the show. Sorry, guys. But it'll be a fun thing for JD to try and figure out which project I would be having them do this for.
Okay.
And okay, so who do you remember who I did the first time that we played this? I think it was probably like Todd McFarlane.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay. Greg Capullo.
Greg Capullo. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. I think I might know the project.
Yeah. And you shoot me a message in the private chat with which one you think it is. I will confirm if it's right or not, and that'll be the fun thing. I can't. I'm sorry, guys, if for anyone that's watching and like, oh, come the fuck on. And I was like, I can't. I don't do any of this stuff till ink's dry.
Right.
And one of those projects you'll probably be hearing about sooner rather than later, because the script is done and I do have both of the people. I am just waiting for us to wrap stuff up with Elysian Fields and for us to have more things to show.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hold on. I think I was about to put it in the public chat. I never use it. You know what? It's so funny. I barely ever use it. Let me see. Of course, I'm spelling it wrong.
Correct.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I have to tell you, that's a good choice. That'd be a good choice because it'd be really, really nice to see him do that type of thing.
Yes, no, 100%. I think it would be right up his alley, especially with all the stuff that he did with Scott Snyder on Death Metal. I think that he'd fuck, and I mean his history on Spawn as well. Like, guy's really good at handling that kind of fantastical setting. But anyways,
now,
so yeah, there we go.
Let's move on to this one. Now I'm gonna twist it a little bit. Now the question is originally, what project? If you got the golden ticket, what project would you get? That you'd want to write, right? That's right. So now let's scrub it a little bit. No Marvel, no DC.
That's too easy.
Who would you want?
My top pick has always been the Shadow.
Oh, okay, right. But I think isn't that who you picked the last time?
I think that you catered it towards Marvel and DC, and so the whole thing that I did was my answer is that I have an idea for a Thomas Wayne Batman series,
right?
That I would love to do, because I think that Thomas Wayne's version of Batman has a lot of potential that they haven't tapped into yet, because he was literally just Batman for the sake of Flashpoint Paradox, but they didn't really go into we know why Bruce is Batman, why is Thomas, and so that would be really the focus and the thing that drove my Batman story, which would have been called Father's Guilt.
Now the Shadow.
Yeah, the Shadow is active, and it's funny because it's actively how I got into doing Elysian Fields, because I had an idea. I had wanted to do a pitch, an animated Shadow series to Netflix, and the idea would be to get Alec Baldwin to come back and voice the Shadow, and that's why I wanted to go animated. And so I was trying to figure out how to freaking do it, and I was just like, fuck it. So I reached out to Dynamite, and I didn't know that Dynamite had recently lost the Shadow when I reached out to them. And so Dynamite has their creative head of projects up on their contact up on their website. So I reached out and I talked to him about it, and he was like, okay, so there are two things. The first thing is that we've never had the screen rights to the Shadow. So this isn't something that I would have been able to really help you with in that regard. The second thing is that we recently lost the Shadow as a title with our contract. But what I will tell you is, if you had been interested in doing a comic with this premise, I would have likely partnered you with one of our veteran guys that's written for the character to kind of guide you along the way of doing your first few scripts, and then you'd take over for it. And I just went, what? And it was one of those things where it's like, man, even if because they literally just lost it within the past few months of me talking. It's like, imagine if there was a world where I had the balls to do this fucking 4 or 5 months earlier. It's like, yes, we will bring you on. We will do this.
Right.
And it would have been a dream come true. But, I tried to reach out to Condé. He gave me the information on how to reach out to Condé Nast, who owns the property. And he's like, I'm going to tell you right now, they're very protective of him. I'm just letting you know. And for sure, and certainly that is what I got. I got the polite corporate version of "fuck off." Where I said interest. Yeah. I sent in a thing where I was like, yeah, I have this great idea. I'm just curious, what would those rights cost, just to get an idea, and never going to be able to probably afford it, but just to know. And they're like, the rights for this character are not currently for sale. And I just went, yes. Didn't even address me by my name. One sentence. Cool. Thank you. Yes.
Says, thank you, Mr. Intern. You. Right? Whoever that coffee go-getter is.
I'm like, I'm not mad. Like, I can't be. But like, it was one of those things where humorous, where I'd have this conversation with the guy that was literally working for the company that printed Shadow Comics for like the past 10 years prior.
10 years,
And he thought that my idea was really good. And then I messaged that to Condé Nast and promptly go fuck yourself.
right. Well, unfortunately.
Yeah. But yeah, no, so that would be my dream character. I would have a second character that I would love to write, which would be Zorro. And that is one that I hope is actually a bit more attainable, because American mythology has that right now.
Right.
And they're a good bunch of guys.
Right,
so
well, that's cool.
Who knows? Maybe one day.
One day. All right, cool. Now we'll do my comparatives. I got some new ones.
Okay.
So here we go. And there's no softballing you because you've already done this. Superman or Batman?
Superman.
Okay.
And it's very interesting, because if you had talked to me like 4 or 5 years ago, it would have been Batman. Don't talk to me about overpowered characters that are boring. But like, it's very funny because I shit on them now, but Zack Snyder's Man of Steel was like, oh man, this was interesting. And so it caused me to go read Superman books. And I was like, it was like finding light after being in the dark for so long. And I think that's it's the perfect thing for Superman. That's what he is. He's a much better character than Batman, and I'll stand by that. I'm sure that there are going to be some people in the comments that go, no.
Like screw you, buddy. Screw you.
You could beat him with kryptonite. I was like, yeah, I don't care. Superman's still a better character.
Spock or Data?
It's interesting because I'm not a huge Star Trek fan, but what I did watch was predominantly from the Picard era, but I like Spock and I like Leonard Nimoy better than I liked Data. I think that there was more personality there, and I think that the idea of I think that it spoke a greater deal about Spock's relationship with Kirk and how that dynamic worked better than Data with Picard.
That's fair. The Rock or Stone Cold?
The Rock.
Okay.
Stone Cold Steve Austin's fun, but The Rock is easily one of the most, like, it's not just about your skill as a wrestler, it's about your mic work. And Dwayne The Rock Johnson is one of the most charismatic fucking mic dudes that has ever been in the WWE. Like him, CM Punk, John Cena.
Yeah.
All outstanding showmen.
Oh, well, I don't know. There's one other guy you're not mentioning in there, but and I'll throw him in this next question. Hulk Hogan or Ric Flair?
I'm going to go with Hulk Hogan because I fucking loved that dude growing up.
No, I understand. But I consider Ric Flair to be one of the great mic guys.
Ric Flair is also, like, the majority of the stuff that I know from wrestling was like late 80s, early 90s through. Sting is also pretty good on the mic.
Yes,
Sting's pretty great, and I love Sting. But like I think that, like, when you think of the more modern, like the wrestling in the past 20 years, in particular, when you think of like the strong mic people, it's CM Punk, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, John Cena, probably in that order too. Because like CM Punk's whole thing was that fucker could talk. like he could wrestle, but like his real gift was pissing people off. I still love that whole thing where he came out in Jeff Hardy's makeup when Jeff Hardy got booted for the drugs for like the first or second time, and CM Punk comes out all in Jeff Hardy's makeup. Like, oh, what's the matter? Were you expecting someone else?
No, what's funny is I haven't watched wrestling, I guess, since about the time The Rock left. That was about the time I left. When he left, I left roughly about the same time.
No, that's fair. Like I got into wrestling a few years ago because one of my best friends and then roommate, David, was giving me a wrestling education, and I was like, one of his highlight clips was CM Punk dressed up as fucking Jeff Hardy, doing Jeff Hardy's intro music and everything, and then people starting to realize, wait a minute, that's not Jeff Hardy. And then CM Punk wiped makeup off his face. He goes like, oh, what's the matter? Were you expecting someone else? He's gone.
He's done. That
just
guy.
Take like 5-10 minutes to just shit unceremoniously on the dude and piss off everyone.
All right, here's one for you: Avengers or Justice League?
I'm gonna have to go with Avengers. Like, I love the Justice League, but my boy Cap, Cap's my favorite superhero of all time, and that will never change.
All right, I think you might have answered this one already, but I'm gonna throw it out there anyway. Robin Hood or Zorro?
Zorro, too easy.
Right.
I love Robin Hood, and I think that if somebody actually bothered to take the time to do like a true to form Robin Hood story, it'd be fucking awesome instead of all these very weird renditions we've gotten in the past few years.
True.
But I love Zorro, man. I grew up on that. My dad used to wake me up whenever he'd come back and it was too late for him to have spent time with me, and I was already in bed, and he'd wake me up on like at 11:30, and we'd watch Mickey Mouse Hour and watch the reruns of the black and white Guy Williams Zorro. Wow. No fucking contest there. Zorro 100%.
Gotcha. Zeus or Odin?
Like in a fight?
However you want to frame it. You got to decide. The question's framed on how you frame it, not how I frame it.
All right. So in a fight, Zeus. Which character do I find more interesting? Odin. The Norse gods aren't immortal. They are not impervious, and they all actively die. That's a part of their mythology. That's not the case in Greek myth. Right. So just based off of that alone, Zeus wins. But I think Odin and the way that he is portrayed, like there are so many different. Zeus is pretty clear cut. He's consistent across everything and how he is portrayed in his mythology. But Odin is very, and he's supposed to be, he's very enigmatic. You're never sure what you are going to get with Odin. And I think that's really cool.
All right, cool. All right, we've done a few of these, so I'll ask you a couple more and then we'll wrap it up. All right, Halloween or Christmas?
You see, it's funny because I grew up Jewish, so this should be a fucking easy question. But like my dad was Christian. My dad is Christian, and so we'd celebrate Christmas.
Right.
And it's not even like, I mean, yes, getting the gifts and everything was nice, but like, there's just something about that atmosphere. But I think I am gonna go Halloween at the end of the day for that decision, because I fucking love dressing up in costumes and candy. You know, candy's good.
Candy never, yeah. Well, I can't say it never hurts, but you know. All right. All right. Here's one for you. I don't know. All right. Disney / Pixar or anime?
You motherfucker. So it's literally childhood adulthood. Which do you pick? Oh, fuck, man, that's hard.
I had to get you on at least one of them.
Okay, I'm gonna go with anime, and the
Okay.
reason why I'm going to go with anime is, as much as I love Disney/Pixar, between this obsession with doing fucking live action remakes that they have gotten into instead of actually developing new fucking stories or taking stories that haven't gotten that respect and doing those, they're rehashing things that they know will succeed due to pure nostalgia. That is a huge hit, but then you look at anime and, like, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of it that's not my cup of tea, but every single thing that I have watched and enjoyed has become, like, literally in, like, my top, like, 20 favorite things that I ever liked. Like, Berserk and Vinland Saga are some of my favorite stories ever. Griffith and Guts are two of my favorite characters in any medium whatsoever. And I'm very excited to find out what the fuck they're announcing. I know what it is. Everyone knows what it is. It's a fucking anime that starts from Black Swordsman and goes through, like, the first bit of Golden Age. You can tell from what it's literally New Beginning, and then they have pictures from Black Swordsman and Golden Age, and I'm just like, okay, so you guys are going to do this, except do it right. Is what I'm hoping. I'm hoping we get, like, a trailer. I thought that it was supposed to drop today. It might drop on the 9th. I don't know. But I have literally been looking up Berserk on news on Google every 10 minutes today. So I'm very, very excited. So yeah, we'll pick anime.
All right, cool. So made it to the end, Oden. We made it. So, Michael, one more time. Let everybody know where they can find you and find your work.
They can find me, again, we are at on Twitter, we're at ElysianFields_0. On Facebook, find us in 9 Realms Publishing. And who knows, maybe you'll find out the answer to that question that JD was asked earlier. Confirm, find us there. We're live on Indiegogo right now. Get Elysian Fields, The Pyramid Gambit. It's going to be fucking awesome. If you missed out on the Zero issue, we do have some of those hollow foils left, and we do have a hardcover deluxe edition that collects it as well. So we'll see you on there. Hope to see you. And thanks for having me on again, JD. It's always a blast.
Listen, man, anytime. You know how it is. Door's always open for you. So once again, everybody, thank you. Hit like, hit subscribe, share out the video, and I'll be talking to you all soon. All of you have a great night, and I'll be seeing you all soon. Take care.